What's actually happening right now in the San Diego real estate market, that is what we are going to get into today. So whether you are thinking of buying or selling, or you just keep an eye on the market, see what's going on, it's super important to stay tuned because we're going to dive into it and let you know what's happening right here in the San Diego real estate market. We're going to keep it simple, drive into some numbers, but also tell you kind of the meaning behind that. So if you are a buyer, what does that actually mean for you? Where is the trend? If you are a seller, how does that affect your sales price? So we're going to dive into all that right now. And as always, I'm Chris Erickson. We got a real estate crew right here in San Diego. If you're thinking about making a move, not only do I love making these videos for you, but we're out there every day helping buyers and sellers. So feel free to reach out. All of our contact info is below. Let's start that conversation. And while today we're giving you the broad picture of San Diego as a whole, it's really important to know what's going on in your neck of the woods, in your neighborhood, in your specific little suburbs. So feel free to reach out because we got your back when making the move here in San Diego. So first, we're going to look at for sale inventory, the number of homes actually on the market. For buyers, obviously, the more homes on the market, the more choices you have. For sellers, the less homes that are on the market, the more of a seller's market we're in, usually the higher price you're going to get. And right now we're sitting at 4,489, at least at the end of August, that's where we're sitting at. But what does that actually mean? So right now we're looking at the number of homes that are on the market from 2016 until right now. We're on an upward trend, which is really good because as you can see, these last few years, it's been extremely low. When I say extremely low, we're referring back to 2019 and before. You can see everything before 2019 was above this average line, about 4,300. And that is a more normalized market. Now, right around this time, back in September, like I said, a more normalized time, we had closer to 7,000 homes on the market. Now, as this number has trended down over these past few years, that has been one of the reasons that has caused prices to spike here in San Diego and across the United States. It's not just San Diego. So this upwards trend is great. Now, it's not saying we're necessarily seeing more new listings coming on the market, which I'll show you here in a sec, but we are seeing more homes as total. So part of that reason is because there's less buyers in the market. Now, mortgage rates have come down significantly over these past few weeks, where we're sitting right around 6%, maybe a touch above that. But that will bring some more buyers back in the market, potentially either flatten this out, or if we don't see more homes come on the market, maybe even drop this down a little bit. So for a buyer, this is good because there is a little bit of a build up of number of homes on the market. So you're going to have a few more choices. You're going to have a little bit less competition because there's not, like I said, necessarily more homes coming on the market. They're just sitting a little longer, which is building to this number. Now, are we seeing more homes come on the market as a whole, or are we just seeing homes build up? Well, if we're looking at the new listing count, the number of new seller listings that came on the market in a given month, we can go down and see we are going to a little bit of a downtrend, which is no different than many other years. As we go back, even the normalized years, you see May, June, that number is starting to tick down. We usually peak out in May or June. May, this one was a little bit early in April and May, where we see the number of homes coming onto the market at its peak. And this year, same story. June, a little bit less in July, a little bit less in August. But the story being, we're seeing more inventory build. So less homes, more inventory means less competition out there. Homes are sitting a little bit longer to add to that number. And so right here, buyers, how do you know if we're seeing more homes come on the market, if we're seeing less? You don't have to go into these charts. Just look at your search criteria. If you are seeing more homes pop up in the searches that you're checking out, if you're seeing more listings in your inbox, it's a good indication that we're seeing more homes come on the market. Now, sellers just looking around, looking at your neighborhood, are you seeing more for sale signs? Are you seeing those for sale signs stay up a little bit longer? And now whether you're a buyer or a seller, it's always good to know the percentage of total listings that had a price cut, which we're checking out right now, and where that compares to the past. So during the pandemic years, we were super low. Look how low we got in February of 2022. Only 4.7% of homes had a price cut. Now, interest rates did take a significant jump over the following months. This is why we see that big spike. But let's go back to years past. So in a normalized market, we were seeing anywhere between peaking out at 34%, about 36%, going over to 44% in 2018 of homes did have a price cut. Now, right now, we are sitting at 24.5%. So it's on the downtrend. We did peak out this year at about 28%. So nearly a third of all the homes that were coming on the market did see a price cut. Now for sellers, it's really getting into the mindset of we're not really where we were for the past few years. Are you going to have a price cut? Not necessarily. Only a third of homes are having the price cut. And as a seller, it's really a matter of taking into account the condition of your home, the location, what has sold around there, and coming up with a really strong pricing strategy where you're still attracting buyers, you're still attracting people to come into your house and write offers, because sometimes some of these houses that did have a price reduction maybe were priced a little bit too high for the current market. And ultimately, like when we're working with clients, you guys are the boss. So we're working with you to figure out the best strategy for you. What are your goals? But it's always good to keep this in mind as you are going through the process to know what's going on out there. Is every home seeing a price cut? Are no homes seeing a price cut? Or is it somewhere in the middle? And for buyers out there, usually the higher this number goes, it just means there's less competition out there. Obviously, if you have very limited price cuts like we did see in 2022, there's a ton of buyers. There's a ton of competition. Homes are selling quickly. Homes are able to sell for at or above the list price because all the buyers out there are competing for the super limited number of homes that were on the market. And now days on market, how long are homes sitting on the market? Once again, it's going to come down to your particular home. If you are a seller, your particular neighborhood, what's going on. Sometimes in the neighborhoods that we're helping sellers out, homes are selling in that first weekend, and sometimes they are sitting for 30 to 40 days. It really depends on how many buyers out there, what the buyer pool is looking like for that neighborhood. So it's going to vary drastically, but trend wise, we are trending up a little bit. Where we did start in May, we dropped down to 26 days. And also for sellers, it's good to keep in mind that this number right here is, like I said, it's going to vary from house to house, from neighborhood to neighborhood. But it is a little bit different from prior years when we did have a lot more competition, when the strategy was market the home for a few days as a coming soon, list the property on a Wednesday or Thursday, have showings throughout that first weekend, and then you're reviewing offers either Monday or Tuesday. Now, a lot of times during that first weekend, homes are still getting a lot of views. Homes are still getting a lot of showings. The open houses are somewhat busy, but those offers that we did see in the past aren't necessarily coming that first weekend. So that's why we have seen the days on market rise. And once again, it is kind of a seasonal thing where we do see the longest days on market back at the end of the year in December, and they usually start trending up in May or June. So no different than this year, but compared to years past back here, we're not too far off from where we have seen back then. Now, taking a look at median listing price. This isn't necessarily the sales price. This is what sellers are listing their home for on the market. We did, and this is for houses, this is for condos, this is for everything included. Obviously, if you just take out single family homes, it's going to be a higher number. And if you just put in attached homes, townhomes, condos, this number will be lower. But it's a good trend to see what's happening in the market. Back in May, we peaked out at 1,072,000, and we tracked down, going just shy of $1 million. And for buyers out there, maybe if you follow some real estate agents, I follow a lot, obviously being in the industry, but I've seen a few posts like, best time to buy all year is the end of September, early October, whatever. I forget the exact dates, but they're saying that's the time that has the least competition, the best time to get the price that you want, and all these other things. Honestly, it really comes down to your situation. Now, if you want the most homes on the market, you're probably looking a little bit earlier. But then you're dealing with a little bit of competition, and it's like, yeah, maybe mathematically, if you're doing all the numbers, that might be the best time to buy. But you can't even time that, because usually when we're working with buyers, we're looking at like 30, 60, 90 days, the process from when you start looking to when you find a home, depending on how many homes are in your search criteria, how broad your criteria is, all that kind of stuff. So there's really no way to time it. You can't be like, see all these posts and, hey, hit up that agent and go buy a house in 2 weeks. I mean, it could happen. You could do it, but probably not the best strategy. The best strategy is plan early, start the process early, build your team early, and dive in and know everything you need to know about buying a home right here in San Diego. So as a quick reminder, I'm Chris Erickson. If you guys are thinking about making a move, whether you're buying or selling, feel free to reach out. All of our contact info is right below. Like I said, we're working with buyers and sellers every day, and we would love to help you with your real estate needs. So feel free to reach out, because we got your back when making the move here in San Diego.